Hey guys, I'm Kate, welcome back to my channel, and today we are continuing on with our Camp NaNoWriMo prep. You will notice that my background has changed ever so slightly because it is my big move day, but I'm still prepping, so you should be too. So at this point we have our genre chosen, we have our story, or stories in my case, chosen, you have your word count and your main goal set. So now all we have to do is move on to the actual story prep. Now there's several ways to actually outline and prep your story, but I found that Freytag's pyramid works best for me because it kind of gets me thinking in terms of the structure of the novel, not quite in terms of acts, but kind of close enough. And I just personally find it easier to place my scenes later into Freytag's pyramid than I do the like 3-act structure. Freytag's pyramid looks a little bit like a triangle, but once you fill it out, it'll look something like this. So you know, still like a triangle, but not a triangle. Multiple triangles. A bunch of triangles on a big triangle. Saying triangle so many times in a row is so hard. First, you have your exposition, which for me usually lasts only a chapter or two max. And if you're writing like high fantasy, that might be a little bit longer for you. The exposition is usually our introduction to the main characters, to the world, and usually gives some kind of hints at what the characters are gonna have to overcome, but not always. You're kind of just setting things into motion before the action of the tipping point. And that tipping point is called the inciting incident. This is where shit starts to go down or up because it's a triangle. So in my mind, this is kind of the first of your points of no return. After this, your main character can't really go back to where they were at the start of the story. Either because their environment has changed, like in all those disaster movies where there's like the big tsunami or the big earthquake or whatever, or because they've personally changed, like they've learned something, like in all those spy movies when they find out that they didn't get the right bad guy, and now they have to go along and the rest of the movie is about finding the true bad guy, that kind of thing. And the bulk of the rest of your story is going to be the rising action. This is where you throw shit at your character and you make them suffer. Or, you know, just general major events and plot points along the way. You don't have to be so mean to them, unless you want to be. Percentage-wise, this is going to take up more of your story than anything else. And this is where each step of the way your characters are clawing, they're trying to get to that resolution, but they just can't yet. They are constantly struggling. And then we hit the climax. For me, this is the second point of no return. This is what all of the action has been ramping up to, and this is the last big deal before the conclusion. In the spy example, this would be like catching the true bad guy, and then the rest of the movie might be spent either turning them over to the proper authorities or trying to prove that he's truly the bad guy to other people, depending on the movie. And now we're at the falling action, which is just all of the events that take place as a direct result of the climax. And the disaster movie example, if the climax is the like second wave and final wave of terror, then the falling action would be like finding out who else died, or being reunited, or trying to search for a safe space, things like that. And then we have the resolution slash the denouement, which someone pointed out to me last time that that's how you pronounce it and not whatever I was saying before. Denouement, I think. Denouement, not denouement. Also, I might still be getting it wrong. Who knows? Depending on your story, this may last multiple chapters. For me, it's usually the last one or the last two. And then for other people, if you have an epilogue, this usually sums up everything. But you know, it's gonna vary, but ultimately it is the end. And for me, this is the third and final point of no return. Your main character should now be changed from the events of the story for better or for worse, and obviously it also wraps up all of the plot points. Now, if you're writing a series, this is a little bit trickier because you want to have a Freytag's pyramid like set up for each of the books, even if they end in a cliffhanger, while also still managing to fit a Freytag's pyramid like thing for the entire series. I'll link below examples of these, or you can just Google them for your favorite story. A lot of super popular ones have them with like a whole bunch of the important plot points. They're really cool to look at. But for the ones like Harry Potter and Carrie, I'll link those down below for what people have created. So hopefully while I was talking about this, you kind of got some ideas for your story, but I also need to write mine down because again, I'm still prepping. And I don't personally write down more than like a sentence each because at this point in my little prep month, I don't actually have all of the details figured out. I know more about the beginning and the end, but that's the great part, is that you don't need to know the middle just yet. You can leave that for the chapter by chapter outline and all of the scene work that we're gonna do a little bit later in prep month. I actually like to physically write this out because that just personally helps me so much. Something about seeing it in the little pyramid setup, just, it works for me, okay? And then when when I get to the scene by scene work, I actually put them on the pyramid, but we'll get to that later. All right, that's it for Freytag's pyramid. Please comment down below and let me know how you prep your actual story, and also if you tend to know more about the beginning, the middle, or the end of the story before you start writing it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get back to moving all my stuff, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye. Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. There's someone outside. So at this point we have our genre choicing. Ooh. Please comment down below and let me know. What do you need to let me know? And that tipping point is the inciting incident. Inciting incident. Go away.